we basically, at one point in the episode, just both burst out laughing because we've come to the conclusion that most of the microbiome advice is just general advice. And he made a comment to say his mum says, you're doing all this fancy research and all you can tell me is to eat more fruit and veg. But
yeah,
that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, and it is interesting if like you're a bit of a geek and you like knowing all the ins and outs and stuff. But
absolutely,
I think even with the research around glucose spikes and like how you respond to certain foods, what's interesting about that is that there's like the personal element of like, I might respond differently to bread than you do. But then there's like within myself, that depending on the time of day, depending on what I just ate,
right,
depending on if I've exercised,
right,
like
exercise is huge.
Yeah. You know, there's actually way more to it. It's not just like you're good with bread, you're not. It's like depending on what you've been doing and what you've been eating and
pretest factors.
Yeah, like it has and then you're just like you can't make your diet based on that. Like it's too confusing. And then another really big account, the Glucose Goddess, she talks a lot about adding fats to things. To lower your glucose response. Okay. But when you think most people are,
goddess.
Yeah, I know. Most people are struggling to even stay within their calories. Like adding fat to stuff is probably for most people a really bad idea.
Is it really worthwhile? Can you not just exercise a bit more?
But it'll be like, the example will be like an apple.
Oh no, it doesn't work like that. The apple's got the fibre in it that sort of,
yeah.
Now, it does lead me on to something nice, which is the law of diminishing returns. So when you very kindly came to Dunbar and did a talk to Interabiotics, we spoke about the kind of law of diminishing returns, and one of the most interesting things for me and the company was about the kind of minimum exercise required to get a level of effect.
Mm-hmm.
I think it applies to a lot of this stuff that we're talking about. Like there's basics that like make up like 70, 80, 90%, and then there's the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
So how much exercise or how little exercise is enough to actually see a benefit?
Yeah, I think it always depends on the benefit you're looking for. But when it comes to health, like if you're doing nothing, and I think this is where people go wrong, they're like, oh, if I was going to go to the gym, I'd have to go 3 times a week for an hour and I've got the kids, so I can't go. Actually, if you just do an hour of exercise over the whole week, and that could be split up into, I mean, even better, honestly, if it's split up throughout the week, 3 20-minute home workouts, could be body weight, you don't need to go to the gym. That has a huge impact on your health and all-cause mortality. And I brought up that graph because I think that graph is amazing.
Just describe it for the listener.
Yeah. I know it's a podcast, it's not a great time to talk about it, but it just shows perfectly the law of diminishing returns and this like really steep curve in terms of all-cause mortality that you get from doing 1 hour of exercise a week. And then it really plateaus off, right? There is still some benefit to doing more, but it really does plateau. Now, some people are like, oh, what about building muscle? Well, that's kind of a different thing, and you might need more in order to keep progressing with building muscle. But when we're talking about the health benefits, which people struggle with because you can't see them, you can't see that. A lot of people will think if they've been going to the gym for 6 months and they've not lost weight or they don't look that different, it's like, well, it's just not working. There's no point going.
That's interesting.
But you can't see what's going on inside your body. You can't see that you're genuinely adding years of quality life to your life. That's so powerful.
Yeah. I think so. What it showed was like an hour of, is it like zone 2 cardio or like a level of cardiovascular
I think it
exercise?
was moderate intensity, so kind of like interpret how.
Yeah. But it was enough to have a like profound, dramatic impact. And then there was an increase, like if you did 2, and then if you did 4, there was a little bit more of an increase, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you get to like the hardcore Ironman training people who are doing like 2 sessions a day, 5 days a week, no additional benefit.
Yeah, no additional benefit.
None.
And actually it starts
Probably
to kind of
worse.
tail down. Yeah, because I mean, any extreme is going to be a negative. So
100%.
when you do get to that level of extreme, it's actually
It's probably not.
a bit of a negative, not just in terms of your health, but like the cost of that for the rest of your life. As in, whether it's wear and tear on your joints and stuff, or whether it's like your relationships. If you're training twice a day for hours and hours a day, it's going to impact your career. It's going to impact your relationships. I've done it as well, right?
Yeah, I'm doing it at the moment, but I'm doing a big triathlon in a couple of weeks.
So if there's an endpoint, then,
Then we're dialing it back, yeah.
Fine. But everything, we kind of spoke about this before we came on, but